Welcome to Section 2.3, Part 2. This is the 19th session of the CISSP exam prep series. This part continues social engineering by cataloguing the specific attack forms you must recognize. In this session, we'll name the attack variants that ride on human trust. We'll answer several questions. How does phishing move on to phones and voice? What makes spear phishing, business email compromise, and whaling more dangerous? Why is spam more than a nuisance? And what low-tech tricks steal information in person? Why does this matter beyond the exam? Because attackers do not stop at email. Picture a finance manager at a manufacturing firm who ignores suspicious emails but trusts a text message and a phone call that seem to come from the chief executive. Within an hour, a fraudulent wire transfer is gone. Knowing each variant by name is what helps your team spot the same con no matter which channel it arrives through. How does phishing move on to text messages? Through smishing. Smishing is phishing carried out over text messaging services. A smishing message might ask for a reply that triggers a fraudulent charge on your mobile plan, include a link to a scam site, or start a conversation designed to draw you in. Some even list a phone number that looks local but is actually a costly long-distance toll. Picture a text claiming your package is held pending a small fee with a link to pay. Research any unexpected number before calling and treat unsolicited texts with the same suspicion you give email. How does phishing move on to voice calls? Through vishing. Vishing is phishing over any telephone or voice system, and attackers usually use internet calling to run it. That lets them operate from anywhere, call for free, and spoof their caller identification to whatever will make you answer. Many duplicate your area code and prefix so the call looks like a neighbor. Picture a call that appears to come from your bank's fraud department, asking you to confirm your account details to stop a charge. The story and the caller identification are both fake. Always assume caller identification is unreliable and verify through a number you already trust. What makes spear phishing so much more dangerous? It is aimed, not scattered. Where ordinary phishing blasts everyone, spear phishing crafts a message for a specific group, often using a stolen customer database to impersonate a business the target already deals with. Because the victim has a real relationship with that brand, the lie feels credible. Picture a tailored email to a company's project managers, referencing a genuine vendor and a plausible invoice. The defenses are the same core habits. Label data by sensitivity, train people to handle it accordingly, and confirm anything that feels off-process before acting. What is business email compromise? A form of spear phishing that impersonates an executive. In business email compromise, the message appears to come from a chief executive or senior leader, usually pressuring finance or accounting staff to transfer funds or pay an invoice. It has cost organizations enormous sums. Watch for requests to pay via prepaid gift cards, last-minute changes to wiring details, or rushed, atypical purchases. Picture an urgent email, seemingly from the boss, demanding a confidential wire before end of day. The critical defense is out-of-band confirmation. Verify through a different channel than the one the request arrived on, a phone call or an in-person check. What is whaling? Spear phishing aimed at the biggest targets. Whaling goes after high-value individuals, such as chief executives, other senior leaders, or high-net-worth clients. These attacks demand far more research and planning, because such people usually know they are prime targets and stay alert. Picture an attacker studying a chief executive's public appearances and social posts for months to craft one flawless, personalized message. The stakes are high, so the preparation is deep. The lesson is that no one is too senior to be targeted, and the most privileged accounts deserve the most scrutiny. Why is spam more than a nuisance? Because it is a delivery vehicle for attacks. Spam is any unwanted or unsolicited email, but it is not just junk advertising. It can carry viruses, ransomware, and Trojans, or deliver social engineering hoaxes. It also wastes time, storage, and bandwidth. The primary defense is a spam filter that inspects headers, subjects, and content for known patterns. Enterprise tools like sender authentication frameworks help detect spoof senders. Picture an inbox where a filter quietly discards thousands of malicious messages before anyone sees them. Spam is not limited to email, either. It infests messaging apps, forums, and social media too. What is shoulder surfing? A physical attack that simply watches you work. Shoulder surfing happens when someone views your screen or keyboard to capture sensitive information. Defenses are largely physical. Separate work areas by sensitivity, use locked doors, and avoid orienting displays toward windows or busy walkways. Password fields should mask characters, and screen privacy filters narrow the viewing angle so only the person directly in front can read the display. Picture working on a laptop in a crowded coffee shop with someone seated just behind you. A privacy filter turns your screen into an unreadable blur from the side. How do invoice scams and hoaxes trick people? By exploiting routine trust in documents and warnings. An invoice scam presents a false invoice with strong pressure to pay, usually targeting accounting staff, and it often blends with executive impersonation for extra credibility. Defend it with purchase order numbers, comparison against expected bills, and separation of duties between those who order and those who pay. A hoax, by contrast, convinces you to harm your own security, perhaps by deleting files or installing fake protective software to counter an imaginary threat. Picture an email warning of a fake virus and urging you to delete a critical system file. Research suspicious claims before acting, and never let a warning rush you. What is impersonation, and how does it differ from masquerading? Both mean pretending to be someone else, with a difference of sophistication. Impersonation is taking on another identity, in person, by phone, by email, or by logging into an account. Masquerading is often used for the simpler, cruder version, while impersonation implies a more polished, committed effort. Picture the difference between renting a costume for one night and building a full career around a convincing false identity. Physical defenses include access badges, security guards, and verifying identification at every entrance. Pre-arrange visits, confirm credentials against provided details, and escort visitors throughout their time inside your perimeter. So let's bring it together. Phishing follows people onto text and voices smishing and vishing, so distrust unexpected messages on every channel. Spear phishing, business email compromise, and whaling grow more targeted and more damaging, and out-of-band confirmation is your anchor. Spam delivers malware and hoaxes. Shoulder surfing steals by watching. Invoice scams and hoaxes abuse routine trust, and impersonation demands strict identity verification. Recognize the con regardless of its disguise. The MCQs covering all the topics and concepts from this session are available on RooCloud.com. Practice the chapter-specific MCQs before moving on to the next session. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or feedback, post a comment below or email us. I will see you in the next session.